Siren Head's first sighting was in the Arizona desert in the 60s. The next sighting wouldn't be until the 90s in Tanyard Creek, Arkansas. And now in 2020, Siren Head seems to have awakened from its 30-year slumber to stalk and hunt once again. Siren Head is seen and heard crossing Lake Ferguson in Greenland. It looks like it at first, but when you zoom in, the arms look stiffly animated. It also looks somewhat unlevel as it wads through the water, so I'm not sure about this one. A family in Japan thinks their toddler is a safe distance away from a hungry lion on the prowl at the zoo, but that's still way too close. Not knowing any better, their kid turns their back for 1 second, and there's nothing left to do. Not enough time for them to react. The kid doesn't even look up, and the lion is on him in exactly 2 seconds flat, or at least he would have been if the glass barrier wasn't there to save him. Fortunately, everyone is safe for now, and the scary moment is soon forgotten. But if this zoo animal escapes, which does happen from time to time, then we definitely have a serious problem on our hands.
Project Unity is an underground network dedicated to shedding light on the craziest unidentified anomalies ever caught in the sky. Here's what they found so far. On March 11th of 2020, this giant ball of orange light was seen hovering above the beaches of Carpinteria, California. It flashes yellow and orange and appears to contain a host of unexplained activity within it. It looks highly similar to a sighting on March 3rd of 2015 when this solid ball of light was spotted over Houston, Texas. This time they zoom in to reveal changing lights clustered together, almost like a galaxy, which then spread to form an oval formation that doesn't move. This requires a high-powered camera to see. Without it, it looks just like a white sphere with no details, possibly a cloaking device. Is this what they would see again over California years later? On March 24th of 2019, the same glowing ball of light was spotted high above Manosque, France. I feel like we see it move a great distance in a short period of time, perhaps even light years, gradually fading away like a star. It also resembles a sighting over Cuba in 2019, in which case a bright ball of light reveals working mechanical parts when zoomed in. Again, nothing is revealed until the camera zooms all the way in, almost like it's a cloaking device that we're seeing past. The bright nucleus could be atomic energy. And finally, the same flying orb was apparently sighted over Russia in 2019. It's an intense white, much like the Houston sighting, bright enough to cast a halo across the clouds, and then it fades in intensity much like the others. The camera person doesn't zoom in, so we never do get to see if it has more strange activity going on inside, but if it's anything like the other sightings, then that's probably a given. So most of these sightings happen during the month of March, which could be a clue. The others may have happened in March, but the dates have not been confirmed. I really doubt all of these people knew each other, so for all of them to fake a video showing a bright orb that hovers in the air seems fairly unlikely. These are the kind of similarities that Project Unity is hoping to highlight. If it weren't for them, we might never have realized the same orb has been sighted for years across the world. It could be special effects, it could be an advanced drone, or it could be what we've suspected all along. It's the name of a YouTuber who isn't afraid to take on the most haunted places in all of Egypt. This time he goes to the abandoned house of a person who used to practice black magic until it claimed their life. Now they are doomed to forever remain trapped in this abandoned home. Digging amongst the rubble is a wild animal that appears to pay no attention to Mr. Hearth, which in his culture is a sign that it could be a demon in disguise. It walks behind something and vanishes. I noticed this room has more tape than anyone would normally need, though what he needed it for was anyone's guess. Tell me what Mr. Marth is saying here.
أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق أنتم الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء.
It becomes clear that something is following him, often hiding in the room he was just in.
الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء لا إله إلا الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Some of what happens looks like he could be doing it himself.
اخوان صوت تسكين. بسم الله.
I think he kicked the box in the air when he was turning around, and he almost definitely does it again here.
مات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
But some encounters would have required a second person to pull it off, and it looks like to me that he's all alone.
بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شو؟ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
No one is in this small room, and yet 15 seconds later the door opens all by itself. Either one of his friends is off camera doing this on purpose to make the video scarier, or the spirit is seemingly playing with his mind, reopening every door that he passes through. Most of the time the sounds are too far away to be coming from where he's standing.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And some things happen out of his reach with no one around at all.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء. بسم الله.
Look at the window again. This is clear, close up, and there's no string. And I guess this could have been done with string, but the way it returns to the open position is odd. So I thought Mr. Hearth could be doing this himself. But the deeper he goes, the more I question what I said before. This door moves by itself and there is absolutely nobody on the other side. There's no room for anybody to have been standing behind it either, and there's no editing cuts as he checks for himself. Maybe he kicked it himself, but he definitely doesn't kick it here a couple minutes later.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
This is the same door, and it just opens. On the table, he finds these mysterious cards filled with information. Someone translate this if possible. Maybe we can figure out what this person who was living here was up to. Objects on the ground move without being touched as the house swells with an intense negative force. Something is near, different than the other spirits, angrier and more hopeless. A feral cat watches with interest as he passes, not bothering to run even when he shines the light directly on it. Odd behavior for a wild animal with no trust of humans, and a possible indication that this could be a jinn. It only stands there when asked if it's a jinn, and refuses to be shooed away.
أنت جن؟ أنت جن؟ تعالي.
And the other eyes are watching as well. They all seem to be hiding from something besides him. Mr. Hearth senses he should leave soon and takes one last look around. At 11:37, you can see the corner of his room is empty except for some trash. But when he does a final pass less than a minute later, this is in the corner with him. A figure in all black robes stands motionless, not even acknowledging him. Maybe it's one of his friends, or maybe it's the old owner himself, back again with one last curse up his sleeve to cast on us all.